Right now, though, Tottenham in a new stadium, of course, but for Chelsea, same old story. They used to call it 3 Point Lane, didn't they? And they took the 3 points this weekend at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs only managing one shot on target. And it got worse in a way for Thomas Frank, the Tottenham manager, with Mickey van der Ven and Jed Spence appearing to blank him at full time as they headed straight down the tunnel rather than going to the fans. Frank was pictured looking back at both players as the boos rang out around the stadium. Frank had this to say about the incident.
All the players are, of course, frustrated. They would like to do well. They like to win. Like to perform well. So I understand that. I think it's about which is difficult, of course, to be consistent in good times and bad times. That's why I went around to the fans as I did. It's more fun when we win. I can tell you that.
Thomas, just to follow up, that is quite a striking image of you looking over your shoulder as the two players walk past you. Is that acceptable for you, that they would ignore you and walk off like that?
I think, understand why you ask the question. But I think that's one of the small issues. We have Mickey van der Ven and Jed Spence that doing everything they can. And I think they perform very well so far this season. Everyone is frustrated. We do things in a different way. So I don't think it's a big problem.
Coisty, should it be compulsory for players to go to the fans? After all, they've been booed off. You know, it's akin to a public flogging, isn't it?
Listen, no, it shouldn't be compulsory. You know, but at the same time, there has to be a big level, a great level of appreciation for the support, particularly away and at home also. But look, Jeff, I don't think it's a big deal. I think we're probably trying to make a mountain out of a molehill here. I genuinely do. In an ideal world, yes, you go and thank the fans. But by the way, I need to tell you, if they're booing and giving you absolute dog's abuse, which it sounds as though they were, you probably would just want to say, right, we were hopeless here. I need to go up the tunnel and get away from it, and just, put the game behind to bed and concentrate on the next game. So I've not got it done as a massive deal. I genuinely don't.
Yeah. Let's have a quick word with Alex, who's a Spurs fan. Morning, Alex.
Morning, Alex.
Morning, guys. How you doing? All right?
Yes, thanks,
Doing
mate.
well, mate.
What did you make of it all?
Well, I heard you mention the word toxic earlier on, and I think that's the new nickname for our club, Toxic Hotspur. It's not great, is it? Because it's a recurring event, this negative football at home, and the fans are getting really sick and tired of it seems.
What did you make of the Van der Ven and Spence walking off without going to the fans at the end? Did it bother you?
I think it's just the consequence of a recurring event, and what goes on the pitch affects the stands. What goes on in the stands affects the pitch. I think Levy, knowing him, he would have been micromanaging this like he's done with everything else, and he'd be asking the questions like, what is the plan? What are you going to do to change this? Because it can't carry on like this. And it'd be interesting to know like how Tottenham are now going to be managed. What's the leadership model at the club now for the future? Because we are without Levy now, even though the fans wanted him out. And it's almost like we're giving the fans some empowerment, right? So they're like even more entitled to be toxic on the stands when things aren't going their way. But these are the same fans, that would have been booing when the floodgates were open, when Ange was the manager. So some are never going to be happy. They don't like that when they get up in the morning. So this man needs time. Give Frank time, right? He had time at Brentford to find that trio of attackers up there, which really did cause havoc. And he could do the same again now, but these are like panic buys, he's working with. So I don't know what you guys think about the signings, because that's like what he's been given, right, the tools in the summer. Are the signings good enough?
Alex, we'll come to that, but thank you very much indeed for now.
Thanks for the call, mate.
Yeah, just want to move on. During the course of the show, we'll come back to Tottenham time and again, I would imagine. But let's get more on that Spurs performance from the former Tottenham striker, Clive Allen. Morning, Clive.
Good morning, Clive.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali.
Clive, the home form's a real problem, isn't it, at the moment? I mean, 4 points at home, that's the same as Forest. Burnley have got 7 home points, Leeds have got 8. It's a concern.
Absolutely, Jeff. Yeah, away form fantastic. The way we set up at home is costing us really, and certainly when you said there was only one shot from Kudus on target in the game, that is not what the fans want to see. That's obviously part of their frustration. you can understand that. But it was the way that they played, too slow, didn't pass the ball well enough, and obviously Chelsea got the result that they came for.
Clive, what is it particularly with Chelsea? I mean, they see it's actually amazing. I mean, you have some clubs you're saying yourself as a centre forward, you like to play against, you've got a good record against and score goals against. But what is it with Chelsea with Spurs at the moment?
Ali, I wish I knew, because Chelsea have had this. Well, they've had this sign over Spurs for a number of years, and certainly coming to what before the White Hart Lane, and now obviously the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You could just sense it in the Chelsea, the group of players. They had a belief that they were going to come and get a result, and in all honesty, the 1-0 defeat was more than they did, not more than they deserved. They had a number of chances.
Yeah.
Vicario made a lot of saves, and they won the game comfortably.
That last quarter there, Clive, you made a point about the recruitment there. And when I looked at the Spurs starting 11 there, I mean, albeit briefly, but Thomas Frank started with 4 central midfielders: Paulinho, Benton Kerr, Pape Sarr, and Bergvall. Bergvall obviously didn't last too long. In recruitment terms, have they missed a trick by not bringing in somebody more creative in that area? And I know they've lost James Maddison, and I know they've lost Kulusevski as well, but not recruiting a creative player there.
Yeah, Jeff, I agree with you there. I thought Alex Cole was a very good one, I've got to say. Obviously, Xavi Simons has come in. He's finding it difficult to adjust to the Premier League physicality and pace at the moment. Without Solanke leading the line has been a problem. Richarlison started the season well. Rando Colomwani is finding it difficult to get up to speed with the Premier League. He led the line. Brennan Johnson, the top goal scorer, hasn't been playing regularly. He's been in and out the side. Wilson Odobert was recruited on the left-hand side. Tell as well. So there's a number of players really that basically haven't, I would say, come up to speed for the Premier League and what's required. They're finding it difficult. Defensively, in the defensive third, we're organised, we're resilient, we're tough to beat. But in the attacking third, we're finding it very difficult with a lack of creativity. Certainly, Kulusevski and Maddison are a big miss at the moment.
Yeah. Clive, just a quick one. Big result for West Ham. Massive result for them, mate.
It was, Ali. Yeah, it was much needed. Obviously, I live in a West Ham area. I hear you say that it's been toxic at Spurs. It certainly has at the London Stadium. It was a much needed result, a big result for West Ham, and just now closes that gap which they needed. But the 3 points was massive for them.
Clive, I can't let you go without asking about the boys, Mickey van der Ven and Jed Spence, not going over to the fans despite Thomas Frank urging them to do so. Where do you stand on that?
I listened to Ali. I have to agree with him there. I think it's something that you don't like to see when you're a player and you've been beaten. You know the feelings that you have yourself. It's very difficult to go. I know you should go to the fans, and the managers asked them to, but they're in a state of mind where they do want to leave the field. They want to get into the dressing room, reflect on what's happened, and I think that obviously internally that will be discussed. It will be sorted out. There's no doubt about that.
Clive, thanks, mate.
Thanks, Clive. All the best,
guys.
mate. Cheers, mate.
Former Tottenham striker, goal-scoring machine, wasn't he, Clive Allen? Tottenham's next game, by the way, live on talkSPORT. Tomorrow it's in the Champions League at home to Copenhagen. Coverage starts at 7. Former Spurs midfielder Danny Murphy, part of our team, kick-off at 8.